guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am RENEILWE SEHLAKE, also go by the name Reni. So if you're interested in home decor and home designing and anything without breaking the bank, basically creative home living, this channel is for you, definitely for you. So what are we doing today? So I decided, I've been seeing a lot of videos, people using pellets for different things, and I honestly love how they're upcycling or recycling pellets for something else. Yeah, it's not upcycling, it's recycling, I guess. And I honestly have been trying to find a way to find pellets and use them to my advantage. So I went to one of my nearest stores back at home, and they charged me basically 10 rands a pellet. So that is very cheap wood, shall I say. It's quality wood, but it's very affordable, 10 rands, and I bought 2 pellets, and I decided that I'm going to make a bar cut out of it. What? So yes, that's what we're going to be making today. We'll be DIYing our very own bar cut. So however, I will also be including a few things on that you should know when using pellets in the same video, so I can ensure that you guys are being safe when you're doing this. So let us get into this DIY. I will add a little ad break just so I can go further into details about what kind of pellets you should choose when using and what you should stay away from completely. So let us get into this. So these are the wooden pellets that we'll be using. We're gonna start off by cutting disassembling these wooden pellets. I don't want to lie, this took everything in me, and not many people advise you to use wooden pellets and recycle them because they take up like a lot of your energy. It's a labor intensive and it might cost you a few equipments. But however, I kept on pushing through with my jigsaw, and this was not even the hardest part in this whole thing. It was actually taking apart these wooden pellets to a point where my dad had to jump in and assist me because he is, the best dad that I know. And he just got straight into it, and I thought maybe I just didn't have enough fiber in my body. Let me get some food, and then maybe, once I fill myself up with some food, I'll be good to go. And I was indeed good to go to finish off the second pellet, and this is what it looked like after I disassembled everything with my dad. Now that we have our wooden pellets disassembled and have planks, I started working out a template of how I want one of the trays on my bar cut to look, and this is what I came up with, and went straight ahead into cutting. Now that I knew the measurements that I wanted and how I wanted it to look, I was good to cut it to size. So as soon as I was done cutting, you guys know what comes next. You gotta sand everything down, get it smooth, because my wooden pellet was rough. Obviously, they weren't looking to create furniture out of it like I am. So I had to sand it down, starting off with 80 grids, building my way up to 100. I only built my way up to 100 because I was not done with the sanding process. And now as soon as I was done with sanding, it was time to put this together. So I used some wood glue in order to attach it. But your girl still hasn't bought clamps. I mean, hello, Reni, it's about time you invest in clamps, honey. Stop being stingy with your money. Invest in your craft. So anyways, without having any clamps, I used bricks to hold everything down. You guys know how I do. I DIY clamps as well, I guess. And as soon as it was dry overnight, I actually wiped down everything and started prepping my planks for wood filler. Using some pine wood filler, I went in filling in all the cracks, crevices, and not crevices and holes in it, wiping down between filling, making sure that I give myself less work when it comes to sanding this wood filler down. I'm just continue with the filling process and letting it dry. I'm so glad for the climate that we have that I don't have to wait for long for this wood filler to dry. But anyways, something I need to tell you guys, this project took me 3 months. It was filled with a lot of procrastinating, being lazy, and just simply not being focused. Change of locations. I'm now using a planer to plane this wood so that it can finally be as straight as possible, because I don't want to lie, using pellets, it doesn't mean you're getting the best planks. No, it doesn't. It just means you're getting affordable planks, and you gotta put in a lot of work into getting it perfect. Started planing it down. This was my first time using a planer. It was kind of hectic. Would I do it again? Hopefully no. But yeah, I learned something new. Anyways, now that I'm done using the planer, I'm going to use my 80 grit sandpaper and get into sanding, building my way up. You guys know how we do. We start from 80 grits, build our way up to 220 grits. But I took the liberty of showing you guys while I build my way up to 220 grits. Now that the sanding process is done, it's time to assemble everything together. Well, not everything, because knowing me, I had to give it an extra month in order to put everything together. So I started attaching these wooden pellets together for the bottom tray, and this is what it looked like in the end. Now it's time for us to get to the staining process. If you guys haven't watched my bedroom makeover, I will link it at this moment so that you guys can go tune in, so you know how I mixed this wood stain together. And honestly, you can go with whatever wooden stain you want to go with, and this is the one that I went with. It's a mixture of teak stain and imbua stain. Just check out one of my videos where I show you guys how I mix everything up, and then you will know how to mix it up yourself. But anyways, we are not leaving it to this. I didn't like how it came out at the end. I wanted to change it up a bit and try something different, so I went right ahead and sanded down the wood, prepping it to whitewash it. This was my first time trying it and I enjoyed it. So using some grainy B paint, this is chalk paint, what you do is you mix your paint up with water. My ratio was 1 part paint and 2 parts water mixed into this and giving it a nice mix. You guys can change it up as how you feel. You will need a cloth in order to work this DIY, and it consists of you painting whatever wooden or whatever surface you want to paint, and immediately wiping the paint off and not letting it sit for long or drying on your wood. Like the name says it on its own, we are wood washing, no, whitewashing. Stop lying, Rainy. Wood washing? What kind of lie is that? We are whitewashing this wood. And basically, I'm just going to show you what it looks like side to side with the whitewash and without the whitewash, and you guys can choose whether this is for you or not for you. Using the Rust-Oleum black spray paint, I started spray painting the wooden dowels and started attempting to attach. After I did all of that mess, I figured out that I should start with the bottom base before I attach the top base. And once I finally figured all of that out, after a long time of trying, I finally attached the top and made sure that everything was level as I was attaching. But however, to my dismay, this did not turn out the way I wanted it to turn out. No lies. I was very, very disappointed at the very end of this because it kind of looked nice, but it didn't. One, it didn't look level, and two, it was not stable. Yep, that's frustrated Rainy over there. Not knowing what to do with that jiggling and wiggling bar cut, I called my dad and shared with him my frustration and what I was going through, and he came up with a very great suggestion to this problem. Obviously, he killed me though. He makes me laugh and cheers me up, I don't want to lie. Okay, so I called in reinforcements. I called in my dad because I told him this is not steady and I really don't know how to solve the problem. So he said I should get a 5x5 wood piece. That way it can lock into the corners over here and then get attached here. So meaning the wooden dowels are completely out of the whole equation. Alright guys, at break time, I don't know why I always do this. At break time, a little lesson on pellets. So, I'm no expert, but I did do research on pellets because I wanted to make sure that all pellets are safe to use. Not all pellets are actually safe to use, is what I found out. So, pellets are basically made out of wood, as we know, but however, there are different wood treatments on them. So you need to stay clear of some wood treatments, and some wood treatments are safe to use. I just explained it with my tongue. So, there are pellets that are colored either red or blue that you've seen before. You've probably seen them on trucks and everything like that. Those pellets you need to stay away from because they belong to companies. So basically, a certain company creates those pellets, paints them and everything. They just rent it out to companies, and then they're supposed to be returned back to the original owner or something like that. So stay away from those because that's just basically stealing. And I don't know what treatment were used on those pellets, but they are colored for a certain reason. They belong to a certain company or association or something like that. So those are the first pellets I'm going to talk about. The other pellets that you need to stay away from are the ones branded MB. So MB is a chemical that was used to treat the wood. So if you use those pellets and you have it in your house, having it in the long run in your house, you're inhaling these fumes and chemicals and toxins, and it might cause your health to deteriorate. So you want to stay away from those pellets. So the only pellets that you can actually use, which are the only ones you should keep in your mind, stay away from MB, yes, but the only pellets that you should think green light when you see them are the ones that have a brand of DB, KT, and HT. So DB stands for debarked. So those that wood means they just took it, chopped it up, and then assembled it, and that's the only thing that happened. They didn't treat it in any chemicals or any way or any form. It's as natural as possible. Those are safe for you to use. And then KT is it's KD, not KT, sorry. KD, it's kiln dried. I have it here because I keep forgetting how to say it. It's KD, not KT. KD, it's kiln dried. It's also safe for you to use. And then HT is heat treated. So it's also safe for you to use because the wood has only been heat treated. That's the only thing that it did to it. And it's still safe for you to use. So make sure you know what pellets you're using so you can ensure that you are safe. And yes, I know what cutting costs, but do not cut costs in a sense that you end up causing expenses in the sense of your health deteriorating and you having health issues because you used the incorrect kind of pellets. So now that we know about pellets, let us get back into this video. I got 4x4s, not 5x5s. And have you guys noticed how many locations I've changed just in this one DIY? Comment down below how many locations you think you've seen in this one video. Anyways, back to DIY, pre-drilling my base, getting it ready to start fitting in my 4x4s. Obviously, I'm going into the attaching mode, and as soon as I'm done attaching, we'll get into sealing all of this. Filled with so much excitement, went straight ahead into sanding down, actually lightly sanding everything so I can ready to seal this with some sealant, because there's going to be a lot of liquids that are going to go onto this bar cut, and I need to make sure that I have my surfaces protected and everything like that. Obviously, using a binary interior and exterior sealant, I went over this, and then I painted also the legs to my bar cut black, which was so fun. And with the final touch of adding my wine glass holders, this is how this DIY turned out. Our DIY for today. We DIYed this beautiful bar cart, with the many months that it took us to finish it and procrastinating and all that kind of stuff, we finally have it looking great, looking good. I am so happy about this, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this motivated you guys to DIY your own bar cart, and honestly, I am enjoying it so far. I really am. And so far my brother hasn't drank anything from it because he's not around to do that, so I'm happy about that. So with that being said, it's a great entertaining area to have in your home, and I don't want to lie, I like it because it helps me to free up some more storage from my kitchen cabinetry by putting the majority of the glasses on the back